Father Nguyen, which was the pastor at our church, he called me out of the blue when I was in Houston, and this was in November. He was like, hey, I need you to come home and rebuild the community. I was like, not my expertise, Father. I was going back to school to, go to pharmacy school. And then he was like, think about it. I'll call you back. So the next day I talked to Father Nguyen, and the man has like the power to persuade. He was like, this is a time to get back to your community. So then I agreed. And I worked with an urban planner from Seattle, and she was like, okay, we're going to map our community. I drove around with her pretty much all day. She told me to write down all the business names, all the little streets, the business community. And I was like, what are we doing with this? He was like, we are going to make the community better than before, because what's the point of going back to where we were? So we had focus groups, community meetings, and we incorporated all of this into 3 different drawings. And the community during our TED Festival in February, they got to choose which drawing they liked more. So they picked one, and we went off with that. So now, we have a health center. We have an intercultural charter school. We have 2 health clinics. We have the business facade improvement. So now the business corridor in our community looks awesome. And then we were still working on the senior housing. So I think that's a huge success for us as a community.
We grew up in a community that is basically people avoided.
And it was a majority African-American and Vietnamese-American.
The rest of the city left us alone.
We were kind of like the outcasts.
When Katrina hit, and Father Nguyen literally took this community and just
put us on the map.
Not only he put us on the map, he was able to get the community to work together with our neighbors, the African American community, who we've always lived
separately.
We lived as neighbors, but the interaction was just kind of a hi-bye thing.
Yeah.
But we actually fought to have the community be rebuilt together.
I realized through all of this, going to City Hall, meeting with these politicians, that I'm able to be a leader, kind of and I was 23 at the time. I'm always the quiet one. I don't like to talk in public, especially to politicians. I was in the room meeting with all these grown, rich white men, and I was the small Asian, and they were just all listening to what I had to say. And I think that kind of strength came in because it's just kind of in us, because our parents and our grandparents came from Vietnam. So it was this wasn't their first time doing this. I just felt bad for the community. It was just, we needed a voice.